Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 4 of the Skip Barber Premier Series on Glacier TV. Will Vincent and Marius Gollenbeck in the booth. Marius, looking like this is going to be a very interesting grid here at Road Atlanta.
Good evening from me as well, and yes it is. It looks like one of the most spectacular rounds so far. We've got the fastest guys from the last rounds all together in one grid. It's just a Runha in his own grid once again, but it looks like we're going to have one interesting race.
Yeah, so once again, Arana is all by himself. Meanwhile, we've got Lewandowski, Kokoya, Williams, Corti, Menendez, White, all in one split together. We'll run through the grid in just a matter of moments on this beautiful 2.54 mile, 12 corner racetrack. And Road Atlanta, one of the prettiest racetracks in all of iRacing.
And let's give you a quick rundown through the grid. And we've got Nieselowski on pole in this split with a 1:35.715, just in front of Janik Koika with a 35.9 in second place. And then we've got David Williams. These three guys also having the three highest I ratings in this split, followed by Marco Corti 3/10 behind, Emmanuel Menendez in 5th position, Patrick White in 6th, Martin Ascher in 7th, and Pierre Tupin in 8th, all just within 1 second. Pierre Tupin just outside the 1 second. Brian Goddard in 9th, Jose Maria Saizomo in 10th, Christoph Mack, Robert Jakubowski, Balazs McSinai, Jonathan Buttel and Taylor King completing the top 15, and we're almost going green here.
Yeah, we're going to go green in just a matter of moments. 25 laps at the Road Atlanta circuit. Lights out, we're racing at Road Atlanta.
And David Williams with a great start here, so has Marco Corti. They've just been charging down Janik Koika. Williams and Koika side by side into turn 1 now. It looks like he got through, and behind that, Corti and Menendez already fighting, and it looks like it's getting really close here.
2 and 3 wide at the back of the field as they come through the S's for the first time here at Road Atlanta. Looks as though so far everyone has been able to get through the first couple of corners okay without incident. But a couple of places changing at the start of this race, and Williams is already up into the second position, and it looks as though he's going to be charging down that number 3 machine of Jan Lewandowski.
Koika with a bit of a mistake here over the curb, heavy correcting there, hit the grass, and that gets Corti and Menendez closer. Martin Ascher in 7th position, already with quite a bit of a gap. So does Nieselowski in the lead, so it looks like Williams is the one in the position to charge Nieselowski once again, as we had the same situation on Infineon.
Yeah, and as they're coming down the long back straightaway now, down towards this left then right hand chicane, Lewandowski is leading the way in that number 3 machine, with David Williams currently sat in the second position in that number 1 Club England car. And as they come down, they'll flick it hard over the curbs to the left, then back to the right as they come down now into the final corner for the first time. And it looks as though most drivers still are doing a pretty good job. I believe everyone is still circulating on the racetrack. Oh, sorry, crash at the chicane,
Right at the moment, and it takes out Jakubowski.
Yeah, so 2 drivers involved in that, and it is Jakubowski and Christoph Mag in the number 10 machine. So their day pretty much is over.
Jakubowski already looking, for getting his damage fixed. Or no, it looks like he's completely calling it a day here. Had a strong performance at Infineon, doesn't look too good this time, so not the fortunate outcome of the race so for Robert Jakubowski and Christopher Mack.
Yeah, so that number 8 machine, after having a very good race, as you're looking at the replay now on your monitor, just coming through the chicane, 2 cars making contact there, and just a standard racing incident, but into that chicane, the big braking zone, Marius, it's very, very easy to make a mistake like that.
The cars generally look very squirrely, and especially under braking, fighting for positions, you don't want to make a mistake, and if you just tap the brake a bit too late or brake a bit too hard, then it just looks like it has with these 2 guys. Racing incident so far, but yeah, it can just happen, and Road Atlanta fairly well is no easy track, and especially braking heavily and trail braking in other turns is challenging, and is definitely something you want to have practiced for.
Oh yeah, that left then right hand chicane is one of the most difficult in all of the iRacing Skip Barber School Premier Series. As we complete lap number lap number 2 here, David Williams still putting the pressure on that number 3 machine of Jan Nowalski. Kikoy has come pretty close there. You've got a 3-car breakaway with positions 4 and 5 about half a second behind. But the top 5, they have stretched that gap up now to at least 2 seconds from position number 6.
And I think Marco Corti in 4th and Emanuele Menendez in 5th position here are just looking to take it a bit easy. I mean, we've seen it on Infineon. There's a lot of trouble and just a bit of an incident, a bit of trouble in the front, and these guys are the ones to benefit. And especially Janne Koika, who we've just seen some onboard footage from, is looking very cocky here. We haven't seen him in the season so far, so probably it's a bit of the nothing to lose mentality for him, and it looks like he's really got the pace to get Williams here.
Yeah, as they come down the back straight away again, it does look as though he's darting in and out, seeing whether or not he can make an outbreaking manoeuvre as they come back down into the chicane. David Williams is having absolutely none of it, just running his normal line. Kikoy is going to have to go the long way around if he's going to want to do so. No opportunity coming down to the chicane this time by. But the top 5 are currently separated by less than 2.5 seconds, with Martin Usher currently sat in the 6th spot. He's going to be dropping down to almost 5 seconds behind the race lead.
And it looks like Williams is still running the more oversteery setup, just like we've seen on Infineon. Coming to the lap times now over the line, no better lap time so far, but Koika has set the fastest lap of the race so far, blistering 1 minute 35.6, done with slipstream of course, but that is still 1/10 quicker than the pole for the race.
Yeah, and the slipstream at this Road Atlanta circuit really comes into play, especially down that long back straightaway, the longest straightaway we've had so far in the Skip Barber Premier Series. And when we go to Watkins Glen next week, that's going to be something that will become interesting. Who can use the slipstream to their advantage? But Kikoy right on the rear wing of David Williams through the fast sections of this racetrack.
It really looks like, especially when you get the car closer and closer in the slipstream, it looks like even though Williams might be a bit faster, he's not able to shake him off, and that could benefit Niezalowski. I mean, he's himself not really getting away from the slipstream, but as Williams has to fight against Koika, he might just get so far away that the slipstream isn't so beneficial for Williams, and that could get him a lot of benefit for the race, as we're about to complete the 4th lap of the race. And just to remind you, we've got 25 laps, sort of a usual distance, about 40 minutes here, plenty of racing action, and we're going to give you a bit more footage of the leaders here, and we'll see if we can go on board with Janne Koika once again.
So to run through your top 5, is your race leader David Williams, which is 6.9 in second. Jean Kakaya in the 3rd position in that number 2 car, and then Marco Cortes in 4th. Emmanuel Menendez is in the 5th spot, with Martin Asker, Patrick Wright, Pierre Topper, Jose Maria San Olmo and Tyler King running out your top 10. And it does look as though Williams is slightly faster in the S's, but then the second part of the lap, where straight line speed is more important, is where Kikoy has the ability to close down Williams little bit by bit. But it does look as though Williams in turn is getting closer to Nowalski, as we saw at Infineon last time out. After the first 5 laps or so, Williams is starting to close on Nowalski. This is going to start being interesting.
It sure will, and especially as we've only got the first stage of the race done. I guess the guys behind them, Menendez, Corti, maybe even Usher and White in 6th and 7th position, are just looking to get it over without damage, and if Menendez and Corti can work well together, they can also benefit from slipstream. And I'm pretty sure that looking at the qualifying times, they haven't been so far off, so I guess they could do about the same lap times. And especially if the leaders, the three-way fight for the lead starts fighting, then it's maybe their time to close down the gap and maybe their time to benefit from a mistake in the lead.
And it'll be interesting to see whether or not drivers help each other out in this top three battle for the lead. Whether or not the number 2 machine of Kakea will help out David Williams in that number 1 car to help them both get around Newalowski. Or whether or not it's dog eat dog world, who's going to take the position when they have the opportunity to do so. Just to let you know, there are 2 drivers currently laps down. Christoph Mack in the number 10 machine is 2 laps down. Robert Jabalski is 3 laps down and has retired from the race. On track, there's currently a nice battle going on for the 9th and 10th positions. That is Tyler King and Jose Maria Sal's Almo. Almo putting pressure on Tyler King. We saw how that number 14 machine did some good work at Infineon, trying to find his way through the field. He's doing the same once again. We've also got a battle on for the 7th spot with Martin Asher. Sorry, Martin Asher off track. Martin Asher is off track. I believe this is in the S's, just losing it as he was coming under pressure all by himself, spinning it round in the S's, I believe, and doesn't quite hit the wall, but it's taking him a long time to get that car out of the grass and back onto the racetrack.
And we're going to see if we can get you a replay of that incident, and that is exactly what we've been talking about. Just needs a tiny mistake here, as Asher was looking good through the turn, but then just clipped the curb, clipped the grass, and once he clipped the grass, especially with this car, it's certainly no way back on the track. So he spins it, and Patrick White takes the 6th possession from Martin Asher.
The battle still going on between Marco Corti and Emmanuel Mendez, and that is the battle for the 4th position. The gap between them is less than half a second as they are coming through the S's once again on lap number 7 of 25 here on round 4 of the Skip Barber Racing School Premier Series on Glacier TV. Another retirement, Dwayne Benzinger. He is now out of the race. He's currently scored 1 lap down in the number 18 machine.
Meanwhile, you've seen the replay, and you've seen that there was no contact, even though it might have looked a bit like it. And you just could see how Asher is struggling on the grass. I mean, he can't even get the traction back on. He had to reverse the car, turn it around, and get back on the track. And in total, that makes about a 10-second time loss. So that makes him drop from 6th to 11th now, which he had to defend against Brian Goddard right now. And it looks like these guys are already starting a 3-way fight for 10th position now.
Oh, I tell you what, Kakea there, almost running into the back of David Williams in that number 1 car. The battle for the top 3 positions is going well here. And Newalowski is once again being able to hold off David Williams. But for how much longer? The 2 drivers behind him, they are looking incredibly racy as we complete lap number 8. To run through your top 5, Newalowski is your race leader. David Williams in 2nd. Kakea is in 3rd with Marco Corti in 4th, and Menendez rounding out your top 5.
And these guys are really looking to get the fight going here. Williams very sideways in the S's there, taking the safe way over the curb, not trying to spin the car. And now it's Kolka rear-ending him, and that has almost been predictable here, shooting David Williams off the track and into the grass.
So for the 2nd race in a row, there, David Williams involved in drive incident, just like we saw in Infineon last week. None of his fault at all, and this is really going to start hurting David Williams' charge for the championship. It looks as though he's being able to get the car back on the racetrack. Eventually there, he's lost himself a ton of positions, however. I believe that he is now behind Pierre Topper, so that puts him all the way down into the 7th position.
Meanwhile, Koika excusing for the incident here with David Williams. Yeah, that looked very unfortunate for Williams once again, dropping down to 7th position now. And that is what Corti and Menendez have been waiting for, as here's your replay. So you can just see how he goes sideways through the S's already from the onboard cam. And well, then it comes braking, and Koika probably didn't expect Williams to slow down that much. takes his normal braking point, rear-ending him. It takes that much of a tap to really send the rear up, lose the grip on the rear wheels, and send him just straight in the gravel and spinning him around. And what we couldn't see there is that Williams even tried to get back on the track normally and just spun it around once more, as yeah, in the gravel you probably don't have much traction. That's a no-brainer. So Williams lost another time there, and he's now 14 seconds down as he now crashes into Patrick White. That is Patrick White, David Williams, and that sends Patrick White flying off the track.
Yeah, it looked as though that David Williams once again had absolutely nowhere to go, as you had Tupa and Patrick White going too wide, and White getting sideways, Tupa almost getting sideways himself, Patrick White then getting sent flipping over and over and over in his number 12 machine. David Williams, I'll be interested to see just how much damage he has to his race car, but today is not going well at all for David Williams, and as he's trying to make a charge in the Skip Barber Racing School Premier Series, the luck is just not going his way the last couple of races.
Very unlucky David Williams, and as we've got the replay now here, after that we'll probably try and see if we've still got the nose cam on David Williams' car, and then you can see how much damage he actually has. The entire front bit covering the suspension is gone, but mysteriously the front, the nose and the wing is still there, and probably that is what keeps Dave going in this race.
Yeah, David Williams' times look as though they are dropping dramatically. Increasing dramatically. David Williams having a very tough time of getting the car round this racetrack.
He's not looking to pit, although his straight line speed is already far off. Tyler A. King now behind him. Oh, that's just about the commentators, because once again Tyler A. King into the wall.
Tyler King there into turn number one. That is not the sort of thing he would have wanted to happen today. Just as he was about to line up David Williams to make a pass, looks like he just lost it under braking into the gravel trap in turn number one, into the wall, bouncing it back out, but he's definitely going to have some suspension damage to his left-hand side. As you can see, his day, for now, is done.
And that is just the bad luck of Road Atlanta is what I could probably say. Patrick White, meanwhile, in the pits, fixing his damage. So far we've got Jakubowski, Mack, Benzinger, Williams, White, and probably also Tyler A. King either out of the race or severely damaged in the pits, as it looks like Tyler A. King has just been retiring off track at last, but not sure if he's going to completely retire. So David Williams now in 5th place, and funny comment from him, he's yeah, describing himself as a magnet for trouble, and I think, well, that is a good explanation.
So with 10 laps scored complete, Jan Nowalski is still your race leader, with Jean Kakaya currently sat in the 2nd position. He has closed down Nowalski once again, the gap now down to less than 3.5 tenths of a second. Menendez is currently sat in the 3rd position in the number 6 machine. Marco Corti is in 4th. David Williams somehow is still in the 5th position, with Jose Maria Sanz Olmo now up to the 6th spot. I see Corti there getting very, very sideways. And I believe Pierre Torpa has just lost the position to Jose Maria Sanz Olmo in the last lap or so. So pace is going up and down, left, right and centre here with Road Atlanta. And we still got ourselves 14.5 laps to go.
And I don't know how Williams is doing it still. I mean, his car must have been out of some secret compound. I can't really tell. His car is completely destroyed on the front. He has no aerodynamics anymore on the front. And he still maintains a lap which is only about a second off the laps he did before. So not really sure if he's able to get the guys in front out of his own. But now he's maybe in the role of waiting for a mistake, as we're about to see the battle heating up for the 1st place once again.
Yeah, just having a look back through Marco Corti's laps, they pretty much are currently comparable with that of David Williams. So Williams looks as though he's not going to gain too much, but he's being at least able to gap himself to Jose Maria Sanz Olmo, who's currently sat in the 6th position. Kakaya, however, is still charging Jan Nowalski. It does look as though they're trading lap times between them. One lap, that number 3 machine of Nowalski will be faster. And then Kakaya is faster than next lap. We see there, Jose Maria says Olmo going too wide there with Pierre Topper as they come down into the final corner. These two are having a great battle on the racetrack. Too wide through the final corner. It looks as though Olmo is going to keep that position for the moment.
Around the outside, around the last bend to start finish, and we know Pierre Topper from the last race. Going pretty clean for him, so the incident he had so far here, it's been unlucky, and that it looks like Topper might have the shot on the inside now.
Yeah, and that's the way it works. Even if you overtake the driver on the outside coming out the final corner, you then leave yourself open for the inside on the next corner. And now Topper taking that position back. This is the battle for the 6th and 7th positions. And this is going to carry on all race long, I believe. And I don't expect Jose Maria Saez Olmo to, give up the fight just yet.
Meanwhile, off the cameras, Marco Corti had a fight. Sorry, I think we're going to skip to the fight with the leaders there. Thanks for notifying, Joni. Janne Koika trying around the outside, under braking for the final turn, but we've seen this a couple of times already. And Nieselowski pretty much experienced in this car. We've seen him in every week so far. Koika new, so I can't really tell if he's so experienced as Nieselowski, but he's doing a good job, excluding the unlucky mistake with David Williams. So we're going to stick to that and see when Koika is really trying to make the move.
Yeah, as it looked with David Williams earlier, Nieselowski is a little bit faster through the first couple of corners, turn number 1, then through the S's. But once we get to the faster sections of the racetrack, Kakaya, a lot easier for him to draft up to the back of Nieselowski, try and make the move, and I expect him to try and make one big move before this race is over.
Meanwhile, thanks again for our walking database of racing stuff. Joni Bergman in the background here, streaming the race for you for Glacier TV, with the information that him and Teemu Vuorle as a team apparently drove this exact combo, Road to Atlanta with the Skip Barber in the Finnish Trellet Series just a few weeks ago, and they've apparently been going world record times, or even beating the world record there, so it looks like Janne Koika really knows how to do this track, and judging the last laps, it really looks like he's putting the hammer down, as I think, well, we've got an incident with Emmanuel Menendez.
Yeah, just having a look back, his engine has blown. Engine blowing as they came through the S's. Just coming through the S's on lap number 13 in that number 6 machine. It looks as though he just missed a shift, and all of a sudden, smoke pouring out the back of his engine. His day is done, and that was from the 3rd position.
And Marco Corti definitely going to take a deep breath. It spares him a lot of work, as they've been going at it for a couple of laps as well. David Williams, meanwhile, makes the 4th place by that. And Topper and Saez Olmo now fighting with Brian Goddard. No, I think it's Martin Ascher, who's been working his way up quite well, and now fighting for the 5th position in the race.
Yeah, David Williams in that number 1 machine having a very lucky day as drivers around him have... However, that battle for 6th, 7th and 8th, that is not going to go away anytime soon. Martin Ascher really doing a good job there of trying to get himself through the field. His next victim is the number 14 machine of Jose Maria Saez Olmo with Pierre Topper ahead. But each time...
Will, and I have to interrupt you. We've got another engine failure, and this time it's Janne Koika.
I cannot believe this. 2 in 2 laps. And this really, really is mental here, as Kakaya, as he was trying to put pressure on Nieselowski, maybe again, he just missed a shift, went down a little bit too early. And for Nieselowski now, this is pretty much going to guarantee him the race win, parring any moment to him. But Corti's now up into the 2nd position, Williams up into 3rd.
I can't believe this, Will. I just can't believe this. Not enough that, I mean, you can blow the car under downshifting, but you have to be absolutely unlucky. Menendez did it, and now it's Koika with... yeah, not even overrevving the engine. He just he didn't even blow it. He's just running on like very low horsepower at the moment, trying to save the car into the pits. But I'm not quite sure if they are going to repair it, and it's definitely going to cost him the chance for the race win.
Yeah, if I was quicker, I would probably actually stay out on the racetrack, knowing that as soon as I get down to pit lane, the engineers will shut that car off. But he is going to give up the second position to Marco Corti in the number four machine. David Williams is going to get himself up into a third position. Pierre Topper into fourth. Jose Maria says Olmo has just lost the position to Martin Asher. That is now the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th on the racetrack as we've completed 14th of 25 laps here at Road Atlanta, and drama pretty much all over the racetrack still.
Too much damage, we are done is the message for Janne Koika in the pits now, and that means race over, and that is very unlucky. Once again, David Williams unlucky, Janne Koika unlucky, yeah, Emmanuel Menendez unlucky with an engine bow. That's, yeah, we've got about 7-8 people out of the race already, and this is not even, well, this is, well, I think it's double of what we had on Infineon.
Yeah, and, you know, you talked about how David Williams was unlucky. He's back into the third position. So, you know, there's always a chance, as we saw, that the leaders could end up tangling themselves up in something. People still have the opportunity to win this race. And for someone like Pierre Topper, Martin Asher, Jose Maria says Olmo, these are going to be some really good, strong finishing positions for these drivers, as we've got 10 laps to go here at Road Atlanta. Jan Uranowski is still your race leader. Marco Corti in second. David Williams now up into third. Pierre Topper in fourth. Martin Asher in fifth. And Jose Maria says Olmo in sixth, with Goddard, McKenzie and Bootle rounding out your top 10.
Jan Nieselowski, also, like we've said, or we just cut it a bit from the last week on Infineon, he has also been quite unlucky there, having an incident with Williams, almost ending his race completely. And, well, he's currently in 5th position of the championship, 399 points, but already done one race this week, which means he probably only gains a few points. Your championship leader, meanwhile, still is Christian Arana with a blistering 568 points out of 4 weeks, and that puts him in the first position with about 100 points in front of Marco Corti. Corti's still looking strong. I think with this result he should be able to get closer. And second place for him so far in the championship. Xavier Bussoms, third position, 427 points. Now we've got Stuart Adcock in fourth and Jan Nieselowski in fifth. Talking about David Williams and unlucky, it looks about the same in the championship standings. He's still gonna fill his championship with some good fresh points this week, so his 340 points won't completely stay. And just dialing that up a bit, he should probably make his way into the top 5, top 6 so far. So, well, I don't know. I would still call him unlucky, but we'll see. The season is still long, and we've got some good prizes here, and I don't want to say that Aranha is safe. I mean, there will be a time where he's going to get in one grid with Williams and Nieselowski, and then we're going to see who's the fastest on the track.
Oh yeah, completely agree. Meanwhile, on your screens, battle for 7th, 8th and 9th on the racetrack. Brian Goddard, Barry McKenzie and Jonathan Bootle, they are dueling it out for the 7th, 8th and 9th positions at the moment, currently separated by less than 1.5 seconds. And these three drivers look as though they're going to have an interesting battle on the last 10 laps of this race, as Martin Asher has managed to, you know, clear Jose Maria says Olmo now. He's starting to put some pressure on Pierre Topper, but won't be there for another couple of laps, I think. So this battle for 7th, 8th and 9th, currently the best we have on the racetrack.
Giving you a quick rundown through the grid, as not much is going on except this battle. David Williams, oh no! Oh no, talking about not much going on, David Williams spins the car around, almost hitting the wall. I think he even touched it a bit with the rear wing. Well,
let's having a look. He did graze the wall just with his rear wing. Just. But that car's bent on all so many angles and shapes right now, I don't think it matters really what you do to it anymore.
So that, just talking about the gaps, should add about 7 seconds to his gap, meaning that Nieselowski now your race leader at lap 18, just across the line, 7 more laps to go, 7.5 more laps in fact. 27 minutes into the race, 15 seconds behind him, Marco Corti, looking strong in second position. That's what I meant, staying out of trouble, just keeping it clean, and that got him in the second position here. David Williams still in third, but the question is Pierre Dupont able to get him. Martin Ascher looking strong behind him. So these are the two guys chasing Williams now. About 34, 33 seconds for Williams behind the leader. Dupont 4 seconds behind Williams. Ascher just behind Dupont. So I wonder if the battle for third position is still going to come into account.
Oh yeah, and what David Williams has got to be really careful about, as I'm having a look through his stats at the moment, he's had a good number of incidents in this race, and he's got to be very careful that with all the spins and crashes and bangs, that he doesn't end up doing too much damage to his pro license. One of the pro drivers in the Skip Barber Racing School Premier Series, he's got to be very careful he keeps that license above a certain level, otherwise he won't be able to race in his other series, which is the Formula 1 Pro Series.
Yeah, he's doing the World Championship in the Formula 1. Looking quite strong there usually, but well, the luck has also not been quite on his side there. He's just been taken out of the race and had a DNF on Sebring this weekend. So next weekend is Okayama, which also is not the luckiest track for Dave, as he missed the pit entry about 3 times in a race. So I'm trying to make this more comfortable for him, but I can only make it very less comfortable for Dave, as he's just looking very unlucky in the last few races here.
Do you think, though, that if he has, more bad luck here,
Ooh,
more bad
sorry,
luck...
Dupont, talking about bad luck, once again Dupont spins it. Last turn, fighting against Martin Ascher, and Dupont spun the car around, and that gets Ascher now into the last... in the position where he's actually able to charge down David Williams.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Dupont left pretty much one car width's room on the inside, no more, no less. And while Ascher was just able to manage to get the car around for the number 5 machine and Pierre Topper, just looks as though as he hit the apex, the car just came around on him, and that can be what happened when you try and take too much of a defensive line, which is not what you're used to.
Talking about spins, David Williams. Talking about spins, heavy throttle braking for Dave here. Coming out of the same turn where he spun it, turn 5 here, over the curb, very sideways into it, and then throttle braking to the max, almost to stand still to save the car. And if he keeps doing that, Will, it's going to be easier and easier every lap for Martin Ascher. He's going to take a look at the gap and see that there is something wrong, and well, I'm not sure if South Olmo is able to get Ascher here, but definitely the hardest competitor, Pierre Dupont, is out of the play, and now Ascher has got no one in his rearview mirrors and can concentrate on getting Williams.
Oh yeah, definitely, and don't forget, if these spins or these half spins, after a certain point, he will start racking up the incident points, as I was talking about. Do you think that if it gets to the point where Williams has too many incidents in this series, combined with his current bad luck in the Drivers' World Championship and the Formula 1 side, do you think that he would put this series aside for a couple of races to help try and get his license back?
I'm not quite sure, and I'm not also quite sure if he's going to lose it. So if he's lucky, he's maintaining it. So he's currently at 3.01 of the World Cup license. Informing maybe the new viewers, we've got the license system of the licenses between Rookie and World Cup, and World Cup of course is the highest license, so that means one incident costs you more, or most even, in the license system. So David Williams for this race with a couple of incidents will get minus on his license rating, of course, and once again very sideways for David Williams here. So I wonder if he's thinking about it, but since the last races also haven't been completely incident free, he's probably going to see for another series to just boost up his safety rating and see if he can get some safety barriers or safety elements in his strategy to cope with the unfortunate situations. Is probably the best explanation.
As Nowinowski comes across the line, we have 5 laps to go here at Road Atlanta. He is still your race leader with Marco Corti in second. David Williams struggling but holding on into the 3rd position. Martin Ascher currently sat in 4th, with Jose Maria Says Olmo in 5th, Pierre Topper in 6th, Brian Goddard in 7th, Jonathan Bootle in 8th, Ballard Mixney in 9th, and Alan Hesbeck in 10th.
5 seconds between Williams and Usher. Well, 5 seconds, and we've got 5 laps to go.
For Williams to fire him now, I'll just try and hit a delta time that's comfortable, that will keep Asher behind him. You know, I think Williams has been charging very hard to try and maintain the gap, but the more he does that, the more likely he is to put a spin on him once again. And for Williams, the gap in points between third and fourth is pretty substantial, so every point counts, but at the end of the day, he'd rather, you know, lose a few points rather than putting it into the wall. And don't forget, Jose Maria says Olmo is only 3 seconds behind Martin Asher.
So, says Olmo probably Will is now in the role of seeing what goes wrong in front, as meanwhile everything has gone right for Jonathan Buttel, as he's just claiming the 7th position here. And to remind you rather, he's been starting from 14th, and that makes up 7 places on the grid.
Yeah, one of the hardest charges in the race here today. Jonathan Buttel doing a very good job in that number 7 car, driving for Club France. And it'll be interesting to see how these clubs get on in the World Cup test event this weekend, as I'm sure the inter-club rivalries will be starting up once again.
Nieselowski looking to get some of the lap cars once again. Duane Benzinger, Marshall Williams, Benjamin De Vos and Alan Hiesebeck. Now the few cars he has in front of him. 23.5 seconds to Marco Corti as he's just breezing past these lap cars, all moving over nicely. No incidents for Jan Nieselowski. Marco Corti, second position, 23.5 seconds, like I said. David Williams, 41.7, and we're waiting for the split, 46.4 for Martin Ascher. So that is still about 5 seconds, 4.7, 4.8. He's not really coming closer. Williams, last lap, 138.2, Ascher 137.6, and Williams once again very sideways. Once again, he keeps doing these mistakes. He's just every turn, especially turn 2 and turn 5, every time very sideways. And I wonder if it's just gonna be another heavy mistake for him, and then it's really over. He's got the warning a few times, and if he wants to keep the 3rd place, he's really got to stick onto it.
Yeah, last time around, just having a look at the times again, David Williams lost about 0.6 of a second from Martin Ascher. So that, at the moment, isn't good enough for Ascher, currently sat in the 4th position. However, if Williams makes one of these mistakes, then he is not only going to be prone to losing the 4th spot, but the 5th spot to Jose Maria says Olmo, and potentially, if it's bad enough, at least also the 6th position, which is currently being held by Pierre Topper. Meanwhile, out front, Jan Nieselowski still doing a sterling job in that number 3 machine. He's going to be coming up to put a lap on Benjamin De Vos. He's currently riding in the 11th spot in about a lap and a half time by my watch. So a little bit more lap traffic to go with Alan Hesbeck also going a lap down soon. So it's not clear sailing just yet for Nieselowski.
Meanwhile, off the cameras, we had Marshall Williams with a severe mistake in the first turn. And I think we've just seen it in the cameras, and I had a glimpse on it. Williams lost the 3rd position.
Yeah, I'm having a look back at the replay, having a look back to see if anything spectacular happened. And again, he lost it into the chicane, just lost it on braking, caught the curb, spun it around, lost the 4th position there to Ascher. Having a look to see just what the gap is now between himself and Jose Maria says Olmo. And that gap is down. Olmo can see it. That gap is now down to about 3 seconds on the racetrack. So Olmo can start smelling blood here. And for David Williams, it really is survival mode now.
Survival mode it is, and I wonder what he's going to do, if he's really going to go for the full-on survival mode, as they are about to pass the damaged car of Marshall Williams here in the double right-hander in the middle sector. Whoop. That is... well,
really
I've got nothing to say for that. I've got nothing to say for that, and that is another 4 times incident for David Williams, as Marshall Williams, the same last name for these 2 guys, been inside the turn, struggling to keep the car around the turn, and then just being in the way of Williams once again.
Yeah, to be fair, the speed that Marshall Williams was going at, he really should consider whether or not he should be on the racetrack or not. Doing 28 miles an hour, coming down into pit lane. He's had all sorts of incidents here today, and that was the latest of them. It looked as though Williams was just trying to get enough laps under his belt so that he couldn't be lapped, but so he couldn't lose any more positions. But driving a car at that slow speed at that part of the racetrack was always going to cause an issue. And once again, David Williams was the one who lost out.
And it looks like now for Marshall Williams, it's the point for retiring off the track. And as he said, it probably thought of that earlier, would have saved these guys the incidents. And meanwhile, no changes at the lead, of course. Nieselowski, Corti still first and second. David Williams struggling hard, and he's struggling with a 2.5 second gap, which he's probably not able to close, so he's just trying to hold on to the 4th position. And Martin Ascher, 13th of iRating in the grid. He started from 7th with a second slower lap time than the lead, and he is in 3rd, and that's going to be a podium for him.
Yeah, so for some big iRating gains for him. For those of you who are new to iRacing and not quite familiar with the iRating system, drivers are ranked in the series using a snake split, so that each split has pretty much a similar level of playing field. However, drivers with a higher car number have a lower iRating, so they're either less experienced or not as competitive in winning races. Daniel Lowski is currently working on his last lap here, lap 25 of 25. So for Martin Ascher, he's going to get some big iRating gains here today. David Williams currently in 4th. He'll probably stay where he is iRating wise, might gain a tiny bit. But Daniel Lowski coming down to that double apex right-hander one more time. Just got after this that long back straightaway, the chicane, and then the final right-hand flick, and he'll be driving himself down to victory lane. Marco Corti still sat in the 2nd position. Martin Ascher in 3rd. Have a look at David Williams. He doesn't look as though he's made any mistakes this lap. Jose Maria says Olmo actually dropped a little bit of time to him last time by, as David Williams is still trying to charge. It's actually 2 tenths of a second faster than Asher that last lap. But Jan Lewandowski coming down into the chicane for the final time. He's going to be bringing the car now down that right-hand kink over the hill, bringing it down the hill into the final corner for the final time. Jan Lewandowski is going to win round 4 of the Skip Barber Racing School Premier Series on Glacier TV. And great victory there, Marius, by Lewandowski.
Much deserved. 26 seconds to Marco Corti. He never lost it at one point, even with Williams and Koika charging down like hell. And we're looking to get Marco Corti over the line. Very strong race with him now. 28 seconds, 27 and a half now over the line. 2nd position well secured by him. Very safe, and just a splendid race from him. And now it's Ascher or Williams for 3rd.
Yeah, I'm currently having a look at David Williams to see if anything else is going to ruin his day today. He's come through the chicane for the final time. Martin Ascher is ahead of him, so he is going to score the 3rd position in this race to complete the podium. David Williams in that number 1 machine has to settle for the 4th position, with Jose Maria says Olmo, a sterling job there to round out your top 5. And then we're waiting for Pierre Topper, who just coming across the line now as David Williams spinning it again. Pierre Topper is in 6th. Jonathan Bootle coming across the line in the 7th position with the last of the lead lap cars behind. That is Brian Goddard. So 8 drivers finishing on the lead lap, 3 drivers 1 lap down, and a number of retirements to talk about. And it was a pretty crazy mid-race there, Marius.
It was an absolutely crazy race. We've almost got half of the field retiring here. And this is just... it's pure Road Atlanta. We've seen a couple of races here, and it's always been an absolute blast to watch, because you can watch everywhere, and you either have tremendous fights or you have probably unlucky David Williams at some point of the track. So not much new on the side of racing, but once again a very different race. A lot of action here, and we've got Jan Nieselowski as a well-deserved winner.
Oh yeah, and some very good points there for Nieselowski in that number 3 machine. So to run through your final order one more time, race victory goes to Jan Newandowski in the number 3 car. He takes victory by 27.1 seconds over Marco Corti in second. Martin Asher managing to drive his way through the field to claim the 3rd position in that number 13 machine, with David Williams in 4th, Jose Maria says Olmo in 5th, Pierre Toppat in the 6th position, Jonathan Bootle in 7th, Brian Goddard in 8th, Adam Hasbeck in 9th, Benjamin DeVos in the 10th position, with Bada Miskne in 11th. Then your retirements, Marshall Williams, Joan Benzinger, Jenna Kokia, Emmanuel Menendez, Patrick White, Tyler A. King, Christoph Mag, and Robert Drubaski.
And well, I think if we have some new viewers this race, this is probably what the Skip Barber Premier Series is in a nutshell. Tense action, tight racing, and well, probably one or the other incident which you can't probably avoid. So Road to Atlanta it is, 4th round of the series. We've got 8 more rounds to go, and we're going to see you again on the 2nd of May with the 25 laps on Watkins Glen, and well, that is an absolute classic.
Watkins Glen, one of the most famous road racing circuits, not only in North America, but in the world as well. So really looking forward to that. Don't forget also plenty of action on Glacier TV this weekend with the TFR Super Cup final round coming to determine the GT1 Championship in the TFR Spring Super Cup, the Continental and Joint Sports Car Championship, the VLR Nationwide Series, and the Afterburn IndyCar Series, all coming to you this weekend live on Glacier TV. But Marius, final words go to you. This has been one exciting race in the Skip Barber Racing School Premier Series, and really, really good action throughout the field, and greatly deserved win.
Absolutely, Will, and I can only hope that our viewers have been enjoying it. And we'll be back quite soon, and well, I think it will already be this weekend, as we've got the packed action going on with several leagues and several road and oval series. So stay tuned for that. As well, we're going to have the post-race files on our YouTube account, Glacier TV Archive. Visit our Facebook page, Glacier TV, and we're also going to have the high-res download on our website. So feel free to browse, feel free to contact us if you've got inquiries. And we're going to see you back this weekend, earliest point, with the TFR Super Cup season final decision. We've been Will Winston and Marius Gollenbeck for the 4th round of the Skip Barber Premier Series, and we'll see you soon.